vciso-au Cyberwatch. August 18, 2025. Strategic Cybersecurity Intelligence Brief, powered by vciso-au. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay secure. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yelamati, ANZ Ransomware. Victims, none. 1. CISA adds 2 known exploited vulnerabilities to catalog. CISA expanded its KEV catalog with active exploits affecting N-able, N-Central, and Microsoft Exchange. The listed flaws include insecure deserialization, command injection, and an Exchange vulnerability enabling privilege escalation in hybrid environments. Historical CVEs like Microsoft IE, Excel, and WinRAR path traversal were also added, emphasizing that both legacy and modern systems remain at risk. Updates to the directive clarified Exchange identification methods and the use of Microsoft's Health Checker. The inclusion of diverse vulnerabilities demonstrates that attackers target both unsupported software and actively used enterprise services. Organizations running on-premise Exchange should pay particular attention due to high exploitation probability. The catalog highlights adversaries' ability to chain older bugs with new exploits. Immediate patching remains essential for reducing attack surface. Continuous monitoring is advised as KEV entries generally indicate active exploitation. Prioritization based on KEV should feed directly into vulnerability management programs. vciso-au recommendation. Apply patches as soon as they are released. Enforce end-of-life software retirement policies, and integrate KEV-driven intelligence into SOC operations for rapid detection and response. 2. New Elastic EDR zero-day vulnerability. A zero-day in Elastic's endpoint security undermines its ability to detect attacks and instead enables malware execution and system crashes. The flaw lies in a kernel driver signed by Microsoft but developed by Elastic, showing how trusted components can be abused. Researchers outlined a full attack chain from EDR bypass, remote code execution, persistence, to denial of service. Exploitation requires only a crafted pointer passed to the kernel without validation, resulting in a blue screen of death. The vulnerability represents a double-edged sword, a defense tool acting as a weapon against its own host systems. Adversaries leveraging this exploit could persistently blind organizations while crippling operations. Elastic has yet to release a comprehensive patch, though mitigations may exist. Security teams should monitor for anomalous driver behavior and unexpected system crashes. Kernel-level vulnerabilities are especially impactful due to privileged execution. Exploitation could become widespread if proof-of-concept code is shared. vciso-au recommendation. Enable exploit protection policies, monitor signed driver integrity, adopt layered endpoint defense beyond single-vendor reliance, and test resilience by simulating kernel crash scenarios. 3. Microsoft IIS Web Deploy vulnerability. Microsoft Web Deploy has been found vulnerable to deserialization of untrusted data, tracked as CVE 2025-53772. The flaw carries a CVSS of 8.8 and allows authenticated attackers with low privileges to execute remote code. Web Deploy is widely used for automating deployment processes, increasing exposure across enterprise infrastructure. Exploitation requires only crafted HTTP requests, making it relatively low complexity. Although Microsoft has stated no active exploitation has been observed, the risk to confidentiality, integrity, and availability remains high. Affected versions include Web Deploy 4.0, with mitigations and patches advised. This vulnerability underscores the continued exploitation of deserialization flaws across enterprise software. Attackers may weaponize this weakness for lateral movement within cloud-hosted or hybrid environments. Organizations using Web Deploy in production environments should act swiftly to patch. Web servers hosting Web Deploy services remain attractive targets due to exposure on internet-facing applications. The flaw highlights the need for strict privilege separation in deployment tools. vciso-au recommendation. Immediately update to patched versions, enforce least privilege for deployment accounts, and use WAF rules to detect malicious HTTP traffic targeting deserialization exploits. 4. FortiWeb Authentication Bypass Vulnerability. A vulnerability in FortiWeb WAF, dubbed Fort Majeure, allows attackers to bypass authentication through cookie manipulation. The bug is tracked as CVE 2025-52970 and impacts FortiWeb versions 7.0 through 7.6, patched in August updates. Exploitation involves manipulating an era parameter in cookies with brute-forced values, which requires minimal effort due to the small numeric range. Researchers confirmed that the flaw arises from out-of-bounds reads during cookie parsing. Successful exploitation grants attackers unauthorized access, undermining WAF protection. Proof of concept code has been released, increasing the risk of exploitation. Organizations with exposed FortiWeb systems should assume exploitation attempts will rise quickly. The vulnerability reveals how weak input validation can collapse critical authentication mechanisms. Mitigated versions have been released, and upgrading should be prioritized. Attackers require only active sessions during brute force attempts, reducing barriers to exploitation. Enterprises relying heavily on FortiWeb for perimeter defense should apply layered security. vciso-au. Recommendation: patch immediately. Monitor WAF logs for brute force cookie anomalies. Implement multi-factor authentication upstream, and segment application layers to minimize exposure. 5. Cisco iOS, iOS XE, and Secure Firewall IKEv2 vulnerabilities. Cisco disclosed 6 high-severity flaws in IKEv2 implementations affecting iOS, iOS XE, and Secure Firewall ASA FTD. These flaws allow unauthenticated attackers to trigger denial of service conditions remotely. CVEs include CVE 2025-2024 through CVE 2025-2025-4, with the most critical scoring 8.6 CVSS. Exploitation involves sending crafted IKEv2 packets, resulting in infinite loops, memory leaks, and forced restarts. iOS and iOS XE devices may reboot instantly, while ASA and FTD appliances may become unstable and block new VPN sessions. Exploitation requires no credentials, making internet-facing VPN appliances particularly vulnerable. Cisco has issued patches and confirmed no public exploitation, though technical details could accelerate threat actor interest. The vulnerabilities emphasize the criticality of VPN gateways as high-value assets. Organizations should treat these issues as emergency patch priorities due to potential service disruptions. Resiliency testing for remote access systems is recommended. Cisco customers must apply updates and review incident response playbooks. vciso-au. Recommendation: apply Cisco patches urgently, restrict exposure of VPN endpoints, enable rate limiting on IKEv2 traffic, and establish redundancy for critical VPN infrastructure. Ransomware exposure list, last 24 hours. Latvia, Matisse Jordan, tagorg.com. Japan, HitachiHTA.com, United Kingdom, Primrose.com, Colt.net, ethicalpackaging.co.uk, United States, clearybuilding.us, mycpacconnection.com, vlaw.com, pequannock.org, grcontrols.com, Hytrol, carndian.com. Hong Kong, welcomefg.co.kr, Philippines, expertpro.ie, South Korea, sfa.co.kr, Italy, maselli.com. France, peggysage.com, Belgium, toeller.be, Thailand, emyets.com, Switzerland, morgenstern.de, Poland, marma.com.pl, United Arab Emirates, WFD 2007 UAE, AE. Final note from vciso-au. Australia and New Zealand remain relatively untouched this week, but the global threat landscape continues to shift. Critical infrastructure, software supply chains, and endpoint security are under siege. Ensure your cybersecurity program is both proactive and verifiable. By Anil Yelamati.